Now, before we start the show, I want to show you guys the 3-minute live demonstration with my guest, Dalia, who is the mother holding the microphone, and her daughter, Lidu, who is the one sitting down with the blindfold. They are both at a live demonstration showing the power of telepathy. Lidu has the ability to read minds at a very far distance. Very, very impressive.
They take cards. Just pick whatever card you want and make sure we doesn't see it so that I'm not in front of her. All right. Complete in the reading. Okay. Did everybody have it? Everybody has to remember it because we have to take it away.
On the screen, fishes in water, and the card says letting go.
Okay, everybody got it? All right, let's take it away and cover it up, whatever we need to do. So Lidu is a speller. I'm going to hold the letterboard up very, very still. We're going to see that she's going to spell it out. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to have her describe what was in the image in her own words, and then she will hang the readings at the top. Are you ready, sweetie? Oh, I'm not going to touch you. Do you want to say the letter? Do you want me to say it? Yeah. With me or you? Oh. Are you ready? Doctor, what was in the picture? I will hold it very still. You'll see she will just put herself. I. And see. Good job. Fish. Keep going. Oh. That's what. E. And. Fish on the water. So the mouse is going to spell out the phrase that was on the top. Ready to see. And go. Ready, set, and go. L. And you develop. Then L-E. Also, wait, I'll say it. T. You got it. T-E. Keep going. I. And so. N. G. Lane. And what's the next word? 1, 2, you can do it. G. And O. Letting go.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Putting them on.
Okay. But in the right place. But
sorry. Yep.
I can see when I do this. I hope I don't make a fool of myself.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Awesome. Dang, guys. She's got like 3 layers over her ocular organic eyeballs.
Okay. Let's
do it. Yeah. Let's push it.
Oh, wait, this one's too small. I don't know.
Not too small. You got it. Okay, guys. There is no way. She's buried her eyes.
Ridiculous. I don't think I've done this.
Let's push it.
This is like using my eyes closed too. I can't even open them.
Do you want me to test you out? Do you want me to put something up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. Pretty good. With,
right.
That is a blue 6.
Welcome back to Beyond the Frequency 369. I'm your host, Cesar Pagan. And tonight, I'm really excited to sit down with a special guest, Dalia Burgoyne. Dalia is also a Mindsight practitioner. She's doing some amazing work with Mindsight. Dalia has shown her abilities and even her daughters in live events all around the world. She's teaching the blind how to see, and she's working with researchers to help science understand these divine gifts. But what's most powerful about her message is that these aren't abilities reserved for a selected few. These are natural gifts we all carry inside of us. She's a mom, an author, and a guide for anyone ready to discover more about themselves and the world we live in. So tonight, we're going to dive into her journey and learn why opening up these gifts might just change the way you see everything. And if you stay tuned just long enough with us, Dalia and I will do a Mindsight duo demonstration before the end of the show, something that I've never done with another Mindsight practitioner, so I'm pretty excited about this one. And with that being said, folks, Dalia, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I got to say, I say this to all my guests. You're gifting me your time. I'm in gratitude. Thank you so much. And this isn't just for me, but it's also for my audience who is interested in this stuff. Folks, Dalia, she's amazing at this. Okay. She's been doing this a lot longer than I have. And she's been touring around the country in different areas, demonstrating and opening up people's minds. So Dalia, I want to go straight into asking you, how did you even find Mindsight? Like, where did you hear about it? Like, how did this come into your life? Let's talk about that first.
Well, 2012, I started doing this energy practice. During that energy practice, we learned how to be blindfolded and to be able to tell everything apart with our senses. So we were able to tell things apart just by energy, by the smell, by the sound, by even if it's at a distance. So I got pretty good at that. And I had heard about the kids in Indonesia that are able to read and see colors and things like that. And I've always thought that was interesting. I'm like, one day I'm going to get into that. I always remember hearing that those schools out there, they will only teach you if you're a kid. And I remember thinking, well, that's ridiculous to think that an adult can't do it. Definitely, we have the same brain. They might go into a different brave frequency than we do more often, but we have the same access. And so I remember thinking, we definitely can do it. And I will get into it eventually. Years later, I had this experience where I will sit up and I'll be in a different time, like I'll be in the future or something, but I'm experiencing like my whole body's in the future. It feels like a normal day, but I know because of signs I'm not in the right time. I remember one day I sat up in my bed and I remember thinking, okay, I'm definitely in the future right now because I have a blindfold on. I did not lay down with a blindfold. And then one of my daughters was in bed with me. It was, I think, my now 4-year-old. And I remember thinking she wasn't in bed with me when I lay down. So I know I'm in a different time. And so what stood out about that was I had my blindfold on and I was seeing the entire room. And so I said, whoa, this is so cool. So that's what it's like. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm supposed to do this. This is a sign I'm supposed to do this. So I remember laying back down and then going on about my day. I get up. My daughter's not there. I don't have the blindfold on. I go to do my meditation. I bring my blindfold on purpose because I had a sleep mask and purposely wore it because I thought maybe this is the time it's going to happen. And so my daughter climbs into bed, my now 4-year-old, and I remember thinking, oh, this is probably going to happen. And then so I do my meditation and I sit up, and when I sat up, it did happen. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. But that was the only time I could do it. I said, okay, I just got to get good at this. And so I wore my mask every day after that, after my meditations, and pitch black. Like every day it was pitch black, but I was able to see like my hand in front of my face when I moved it. So like the phantom hand. And then I also noticed I was able to see all the outlines in my room. Like, so I was able to get around even though there was zero light coming in. It was like pitch black. For like 6 months, I would do it. And I would call it dark walking. And I would walk and I would see the edges of the bed. I would see the outlines of doors and tables and cabinets. And if I touched it, it would appear even more. So I started walking around. I thought it was the funnest thing ever because I never had to turn on any lights or anything. But if I needed to go to the bathroom or something, never had to turn on the lights. Like just go in. I saw all the outlines. It's kind of like, how do you say, like echolocation or something? Because as soon as I would touch something, I would see more of it. I just couldn't see colors or fine detail or light. I couldn't see any light at all. So I always thought this kind of looks like a sonogram or an ultrasound or something where sound makes you see lines. I remember I did it for about 6 months. And then all of a sudden I had this strong feeling of I needed to actually start seeing now. Like to see colors and stuff like those kids do. I remember around that time, a friend of mine sent me a video of Vibravision, which is just 20 minutes from my house. And I remember thinking like, that's what I want to do. But I don't want to do it with Vibravision just because they're mostly teaching energy work. And I already have this huge background in energy work. And I only want to practice the blindfold. And I said, well, how am I going to do that where it's just practicing the blindfold? It's not learning an energy-based system. I started looking around and I find Rob Freeman and Wendy Gallant. And you know them very well. Yeah. And so I find them and Rob does a free call with me on Zoom. And for the first time ever, I was able to see with my mind's eye. So when he was holding up the colors and shapes, I was seeing it with my mind's eye. And I was like, wow, I've never seen this way before. And he was surprised. He's like, whoa, you're like, picked that up like nothing. And he really wanted me to go to his seminar. But I had never even tried to see that way. I've always just done it with my other senses. I never tried. And then when I went to their seminar on the second day, that is when it opened finally. And it was very small. It was just a small amount of color I could see, but it was the first time. And also my window opened in the back, the very first one, in the weirdest way. Like, for example, let me get some colors here. So I would hold the color here in front of me, but I would see it behind me. I was so confused what was happening. So I remember having a window open back here, take the yellow, I go back here, and then I started seeing green. And I was so confused because I'm like, I should see the yellow more, but I'm seeing green. What's going on? And so I would put the yellow back. I would see yellow again. And then finally I call Wendy over. I'm like, Wendy, what is going on? And then I said, look, right now I'm seeing yellow. And she goes, yes. And I'm like, okay, now I'm seeing green. And I'm putting it where the window is. I'm like, but now I'm seeing green. And Wendy's like, yes. I'm like, well, what's going on? And then I finally realized my window, even though it was behind me, I was always seeing in front of me. And so that was my very first window. Yeah. What was interesting about it was, some people think they have the issue of cheating and stuff, but that didn't happen with me because it was just not possible to be seeing the way I was seeing. And so I'd never had that issue. And then From there, I opened up really, really quickly within like a day or so. I was reading, like a couple of days I was reading, and I was seeing with patches and stuff. It was just phenomenal. And I remember at the same time, that same week, I had already known all year that my daughter was telepathic. And I was going around advocating just for spelling, never for the telepathy or anything. It was just for spelling because I didn't think everyone, I wasn't sure if all the other spellers were able to do telepathy or anything. I'm just thinking this is just my daughter. The only thing that's really important to me is getting spelling out there. So that same week I was with Rob and Wendy, I'm telling them about my daughter's telepathy. And that week, the telepathy tapes, the pre-tapes come out, the first ones.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I showed them, I'm like, look, this is what I was telling you about with my daughter. This is what she could do. But it was like, it wasn't a big deal yet. Nobody was really, one person was listening to me. It was a friend, and she's a friend of mine now. And like, it was just so much going on that week that it was like the telepathy thing was just adding to the cake. It was just too much going on. And then later on, they're like, wow, so this is what Dalia was telling us. Like, when the telepathy tapes got really big. But yeah, it was that week. In fact, going back to telepathy, I'm a part of an RPM group. So that's a spelling to communicate group. And so I'm a part of the group, and we're all debating whether the telepathy tapes was like a good thing or a bad thing. To me, this is awesome, but some of them were a little nervous about it. And I said, well, my daughter has these abilities, and so, and that's when Dr. Diane's people heard about, like, 'cause I was saying that, and that's how I got into communication with her, and we started working together. I remember thinking that week, I'm like, somehow this is related to my daughter. Somehow, I don't know why. And I kept telling them before the telepathy tapes came out, I said, there's something where these are the same, like, they're not necessarily the same, but there's some kind of relation here. And both of these are important. And I remember, and now it turned into, without me even trying, it turned into me and my daughter being this team showing these abilities. But absolutely at no point was this planned at all on my end. My daughter knew it was coming because with her telepathy and stuff, but she never told me. She didn't tell me until the right time.
Oh my gosh. Yo, Dalia, I'm first of all, just like the people that are watching and listening this right now, I am absorbing all of this because this is like fantastical. It's amazing to hear your journey, what you have gone through, what you didn't plan. I mean, it sounds like everything just kind of happened, just kind of fell one thing after the other, which is good. It's good to follow, to fall in place organically and without you putting too much aggressive pressure into it. So, but let me ask you this. So let's go a little way back here. You first started talking about that you were waking up in different timelines. So before I ask you about that, even further back, have you always had any intuitive abilities, time travel abilities? I'm not sure what to call them. Did you have these things prior to Mindsight?
The time travel thing was in my late 30s, maybe my mid to late 30s. That's when that started happening. Because I've been doing this energy work system for a while. And so a lot of these weird abilities started to come in. I always called it time travel. It could be timelines. I don't know what it is.
I'll call it time travel. Yeah, it makes sense. You said your other abilities started opening up because you were doing this energy work. What energy work is it that you were practicing at the time?
Yeah, I'm still practicing it. I started in 2012. It's like a yin-based Nigong type of system. As a child, though, I did have telepathic abilities. My last memories of it is when I was about in first grade. I used to always know what people were thinking and what people were going to do and what they were going to say. I just always knew. And I remember thinking, why don't adults know? This is before I went to school. I remember thinking, why don't adults just know what each other is thinking? And so I remember thinking, okay, when you become an adult, you forget. That must be you lose the ability. And I just kind of assumed that. But then when I went to school, I had the same feeling. I was like, wait a minute, why aren't these kids doing the same thing? Why aren't they reading each other's mind? And I feel like the reason I remember these things is because I was so confused. And how we remember things that have an emotion attached better. And so I had an emotion attached with the adults not being able to do it, being very confused. And then I had an emotion attached with the kids at school not being able to do it. I don't have any actual recollection of me losing the ability, but now I'm nowhere near at that ability, like at that level where I was as a kid. Still, at the same time, what my daughter can do, like, it just blows my mind. When I think about telepathy, before my daughter came around, when I used to think about it, it was nothing. It was like what my daughter can do was like TV psychic stuff. It's like stuff I didn't really believe was real. And I've been in the consciousness world my whole life. And I did not think what my daughter could do was doable. And so it just blows my mind how even people who have done this their whole lives, how how awful even we are.
Just for folks that don't know, can you give us a little bit of a highlight about who your daughter is and what she can do, what her situation is, things like that, so folks can just be aware of it?
Yeah, so my daughter is Lidu. She is now 15 years old. She just celebrated her 15th. She had just had a quinceañera in Mexico. Very nice. And my husband comes from the Mexican background, and I come from Puerto Rican background. And she is a non-speaking autistic. Well, she's a limited speaker now because we've progressed her to the point where she is saying phrases and stuff now. And so she spells to communicate, and she started when she was 11. That's when she started. Well, she didn't start communicating with me, being open with me until she was 13. So that was 2 years where she and I weren't talking. I had to actually take her to a provider to have conversations with her. But once she opened with me, that is when she started teaching me. And that's when I thought the whole time I was teaching her how to communicate and teaching her lessons and stuff. And I'm just teaching her normal academic lessons to help her communicate and get her skills up. And the whole time she's just probably just laughing at me like, oh, mom, I'm glad she's helping me. And then finally, when she can communicate with me, I'm like, oh my goodness, every day I was learning something new and she was blowing my mind. I was just like, wow, everything I thought was real was totally wrong. Or at least not totally wrong, but it's like it goes so deep. And then she tells me about these concepts I had no idea about. It's just incredible. And so my reality has shifted so much that it's become normal to me to have someone that's constantly reading my mind, like that's always reading my mind and has access. It's just normal to me now. But when it first happened, I was just mind blowing. And she still manages to blow my mind a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And congrats to her and happy birthday to her as well. So you say that your daughter teaches you concepts and different things. What's something small that she may have just taught you concept wise that you were like, I didn't know that, or I didn't see it this way?
So she had all of these skills. My daughter was already a savant in other areas, like with her artwork. She'd won national contests with her art for a while.
Wow.
She won a beauty pageant, or not beauty, but she won pageants and stuff. She had these incredible skills. Like one of her skills is she can do things backwards. She could paint backwards and then show it to you and it's perfect on the other side. So she paints through glass that way. If you ask her to write words, she can write the words backwards and you can put it in a mirror and it comes out perfect and without even struggling. It's so easy for her. And if you give her a song, she could sing it backwards. And so I knew she had these kind of skills. So I was just doing a normal RPM session with her. So again, that's just spelling to communicate and that's just getting her skills up. I said, we all have different skills that we're kind of born with. And sometimes we can develop more skills. I said, are there any skills that you have that we don't already know about? And that's when she said, I can discern spirits. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, what do you mean by that? And she goes, I could tell the different ones apart. And I said, like what? And then she goes, well, there's some of them that are human that have not been born, some that are never going to be born. And then there's these different entities, there's UAP. She didn't say UAP. She said some kind of word for that. She said, she basically said UAP. She said they were angels. She says they were dark entities. She was just talking about all these different ones. And that was the first thing she told me. And I was like, whoa.
And has she read books about these prior to that? So
no.
Wow. That's wild.
In fact, up until then, Lilu always knew, even though I was giving her college level academic lessons, she always knew the answers and I just didn't understand. And then also there was always stuff around the house she would always know. And I always thought she must have the best extrasensory hearing ever because that made sense to me because I had great hearing. And so that part made sense. She must have super psychic hearing or something. I did not think it was telepathy at all. Never crossed my mind.
Yeah. So you couldn't hide things because she would know where it is.
She always knew everything. Not only that, she always, every time she said she wanted something, she got it. And it would just divinely happen. And I always thought she must have the best manifestation abilities on the planet. But I now know she's just really, really, that's probably one of the things, but she's also extremely good at precognition. So now I know, she just knew it was coming.
I see. Something was coming in the mail and she just already knew it was coming. And then she'll say that out loud and you're like, whatever. And then all of a sudden it shows up. You're like, what? Yeah. Or
just, she would say, it's sometimes events. This is before I really knew who she was. And she would kind of tell me about events and stuff. And then they would happen. And I'd be like, she must have manifested it. I'm thinking the whole time manifestation, that makes more sense to me. But now I know she very much is able to do precognition. So I think that's part of it, or a big part of what was happening.
Yeah.
But I was so confused in the beginning, how does she know this stuff? How come she knows everything?
Yeah. And that's gotta be wild too. Like, I mean, so she can read your mind 24/7. Is that like does that worry you in some kind of sense? Like, can you block it? Can she block it?
She says that she can turn her attention away from it if she doesn't want to see something. And she does it by focusing on her body's senses because normally she's mostly out of her body. And so she says if she focuses on her senses, then she can just kind of stop doing it. I don't have any problem with her reading my mind 24/7 because she's always done it. And
Yeah.
she's explained that, even if you have a negative thought or a bad thought or any enraged thought, she sees what preceded that thought and she sees what caused that thought. And so she sees the big picture and there's a compassionate response. She never judges about
Judges,
it. She
yeah.
just says, "Oh, I understand. I understand why they thought that or why they're saying thinking mean things." And, but yeah, it was so funny because when she first read my husband's mind, that's when my husband was like, "How do I turn it off? How do I don't," he's like, "I understand that you're going to do it, but how do I make it so nobody else does it?" And she just kept saying, "No, we see the big picture. We see the whole thing. It's okay."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, but still, I don't want it."
Yeah.
So,
That's wild.
yeah, I recently took Lily to a camp with a bunch of spellers and they all, I just recognize, I'm like going there. I know they're all going to read my mind. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I think the highest of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I even said it to people. I'm like, I'm glad my daughter reads my mind because she can see how highly I think of her whole life, even before I knew she could spell.
That's good. I love that. I'm wondering regarding the way your daughter learns. We learn, through the average person learns through like academics and reading books and, going to school, things like that. Does she not need to do any of that because she's kind of like tuned into the conscious internet pretty much? Is that how that works?
That's what I believe too. In school, when she started spelling and I saw that this stuff is just so easy for her, she seems to know all of it, even if it's college level. Once I showed the school what she was capable of and how, they advanced. Well, she's still in the same grade, but they're giving her material that's a couple of grades ahead. Because one of the first things she said is she didn't like school because it was too easy. It was just ridiculously easy. But yeah, I've asked her that. I said, "Lilu, this is before I knew she had telepathy. I said, "Lilu, how do you know this stuff? Are you like accessing the internet or something? Is there like some kind of an internet you're getting to?" I remember in that one question, that one time I asked her, she said, "Well, that time I did know it, but yes, I do have access." And so I was like, huh. And, so she was always saying stuff and it was starting to add up until finally I said, "Lilu, like, I was just thinking that. And you just wrote down what I was thinking." I said, "Are you able to read my mind?" And then she's like, "Yeah." And then I was like, wait a minute. Wait. I'm like, okay, let me I put an easy word and I had her spell it. She spells it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I said, "Hold on." And then I did like a bigger word. She spells the bigger word. Then I do a phrase and she spells the whole I was like, whoa. I was like, my mind is
Just like
blown.
that, one after the other.
Yeah. And I was like, my mind is blown.
So it's not just in the room, localized telepathy. Like if I had a question about something that we had no books or TV wasn't on, anything like that, would she be able to like pull it from the conscious internet? Like, I don't know, like, what's the height of Mount Everest or something like that? Like is that kind of information from what you understand out there in the consciousness that she can just pull down from?
She can. The limitation is in her ability to actually spell it.
Okay.
But yeah, she can. She is able to connect with people. I gotta be careful I was saying it because I don't want people hounding her down. But she's able to connect with like people's angels and stuff and tell the person exactly what they need to hear and tell them stuff about their life that only they know. And so she's able to act, but she only does that like when it has to happen.
I guess you're doing some research with Stanford. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about
Okay, so you've allowed this Stanford to do research on you and her. What is it that they're trying to find and research and look into? What's their goal?
Yeah, so we're doing that research with Dr. Diane, and the goal is just to prove that telepathy is happening. And Lilu, what's amazing about Lilu is she's at the point where she could do it independently. We've been working on her doing it without me holding the letterboard. So yeah, she's gotten to the point, not only can she do it, I could do a random sequence of letters or numbers, and she can do it on the letterboard. Sometimes she struggles because of the motor skills, but I'm across the room. I'm not holding it when we're doing this practice. But I've also recently discovered, and it was through another kid with telepathy, I discovered Lilu can do it. I discovered that she can just touch the first letter and then say the word. So
wow.
Yeah. So the other day I played a game with her and I put down a few people's names, like friends of mine. I just put them in an order. I was recording and I said, we're just going to practice. This is the first time I'm going to try it because I saw another kid do it. And so we're going to try it. And so I had an order and I'm recording and then I give the letter word. And so everybody who's watching a recording knows what the order is. And so I was like, what's the first word? Not the name I'm thinking of or the word. And she just touches it, she touches the first letter and says the name. And she does it for like 6 in a row. She just says the name. What was amazing is there was a name, two of my friends, one's Alec and one's Alex. And she got that correct too. And
Wow,
that's so
yeah.
hard to say. They sound so similar. They start with basically this. I can't believe she got that correct too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's your proof right there too. There's another proof.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking of having her when we demonstrate and stuff, having her do that. There's a lot of times on stage, I'm not sure, if she doesn't do it consistently at home, I don't want to make her do it on stage. And I always end up holding it on stage, but I'm thinking she might be able to do that one where she touches it and just says it. I'm excited about that. We're going to be doing an event this weekend where we're going to demonstrate on a stage, and it's going to be Bliss on the Bay Transcendence Retreat. And we're going to demonstrate both Mindsight and Telepathy, and then we're going to do it like a Q&A. Thinking if she's comfortable, I will have her demonstrate that because we haven't shown that yet on
that'd be something special for that entire group. And regarding the stage, so you guys do these events, like is Lidu, is she aware that she's on the stage and people are like expecting to see something, and like is she comfortable doing that? Like
Lidu has been comfortable in front of a group of people her entire life. It's like she knew, and there is no it's like about it. She knew that this was her life mission to be a world teacher. She told me that herself. And she's never had an issue being on stage. And in fact, she seems to really like it. And it's very rare. It's very rare for one of these kids to be able to keep their body in check for that long, to be able to hold themselves still and be able to be in front of a loud crowd and that energy of all those people in the room, all those lights. It's a really hard thing, but she was kind of made to do it because that was her life mission. I asked her, I said, Lidu, how did I get blessed for you to be my child? How did that happen? What did I do to deserve that? And she said, well, you told me. And she said before we were born, we were constructing this life together. And she said, yeah, you said you wanted a kid that was disabled in this life or a kid that was going to be a world teacher. And I decided to do both. And she said she chose her disability. She said, those are her words. She said, I chose this disability to do that.
I love that, Dalia. Like, okay, because this is something that I love talking about on my podcast as well. So to the best of your understanding, you just talked about that she told you that before you guys had this human experience, you guys talked, you guys conversed, you guys planned this out, this creation stuff. Is there anything more outside of what you just explained that she told you that she added to that? Like, so she can confirm from her perspective that we are spiritual beings before we have this human experience. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. And did she ever say that she had a different name prior to being, Lidu, anything like that?
I've never asked her that.
Yeah.
He says she definitely remembers her past lives.
Oh, both of y'all's past lives.
Yeah, I don't ask her very much because if I can't validate, I don't really like asking. But she said, like, even with some of the people we've talked to, she will remember their past lives and stuff, and she'll tell them, and they'll explain like, oh, I've always had an affinity for this in my whole life, and you're explaining why. So she also talks about, I asked her one day, I said, Lidu, what else is something you could do that I don't know about? And she says, well, I can go into different timelines. And she says, and I could see what you would have done in the other timelines too. And I was like, whoa, you just blew my mind again.
Yeah. And is that something that she's teaching you how to do? Because you've done it by accident. Is she teaching you? Is that something that you're interested to know how to step into potential timelines?
I would love to learn that, but I actually practice this little saying myself when I wake up. I'm like, oh, I have awakened in the best possible timeline. No, I'll say stuff like that, but I haven't actually asked Lidu to teach me about that at all. Right now, the time that we have together, it's mostly me helping her with her motor skills so that she can communicate more telepathy and also just to be able to communicate. And then also she's mostly focused on teaching me telepathy because she says it's very huge for my mission. And so she's very dedicated. She teaches me in my dreams every night. She'll like go in my dreams and teach me. And when we sit and practice spelling every day, she will have me do it with her. And some days I get it really, really good. And some days I'm like, I'm not getting anything, Lulu. I don't understand. She told me by next month, though. She keeps saying that I'm going to get much, much better by next month. And her time frames are always so spot on. So I'm really excited for that. There's a lot of the times I know what she's thinking, but there's been a couple of practices where like I practice with her the same way she practices with me with the letterboard. And so I just have her hold it and I'm the one touching it just because I'm just going by how she does it. But there's been times where I have her write down the word and then put the word upside down. And then I could just touch the first letter and I know it. I was like, oh, it's this. And then she'll show me and I'm like, oh my gosh, And so, yeah, it's getting there. But she says it's very important. Telepathy is important to her, like the world knowing about it. She said like the Mindsight was the thing that got people's attention. But now people are going to start really noticing telepathy. That's where the world needs to go. And she's willing to do whatever to have science, work with scientists, whatever it takes, improve her skills, whatever it takes for the world to start seeing it as a truth versus this myth.
Yeah. And you'll be there every step of the way. That's awesome. Telepathy. For somebody like myself and other folks that have that we do the outer body stuff, we understand that we don't talk like how we're doing now. This is a very crude way to communicate. Having to figure out our tone, the right words, the dialect, and telepathy. That's what we do when we're outside of our body as well. So the fact that she hit the nail right on the head, that telepathy is the direction that we need to go, it makes sense because a lot of us believe that we're moving into that energetic realm where that's what we're doing mostly. So it's a beautiful thing that you're supporting her and she's teaching you, which is amazing. So everything that you guys are doing is amazing. I love it. I support all of it. I'm with it. Dalia, I want to ask you one more question before we start doing our Mindsight demonstration. What do you think from everything that you've learned and understand to this day, what do you think Mindsight actually is? And how is it that we are actually seeing without our physical eyes?
Oh, that is a question that I'm trying to figure out myself. And that's why I am working with researchers because I want to find that out. I'm like, how is this working? There's a lot of theories. Like some of the theories are that we are using our skin because our skin very much has these sensors that can pick things up. There's a theory that it is our spirit. I remember one time when I was just dark walking and I remember walking and I said, you know what? I just realized I'm not using my eyes. Everything that looks like I'm using my eyes, like everything is in the perspective as if I was using my eyes. But I said, but there's no way I'm actually using my eyes. And so I said, if that's the case, this is the same as me being out of body. So I've had a lot of experiences out of body too. And so I said, well, okay, if it's like the same as being out of body, I should be able to see behind me. And so I said, okay, I want to see the bed. And because I was standing the opposite side of the bed. And when I did, my bed showed up. Like I was able to see it. And I was like, but as soon as it happened though, I got disoriented because it was, kind of like when you're playing with VR and the VR is moving, but you're not, and you get disoriented. So I remember getting disoriented. I said, okay, I'm going to play the game like it's just coming from my eyes until then. So yeah, it could very well be spirit vision. I actually have a couple of friends who are good at doing that. One of them is actually Rob Freeman's niece, Danny. She's really good at taking her spirit out and going somewhere and seeing. And that's how she does it. It's a little different than like just using your skin or using x-ray vision or whatever we're doing. There's a lot of different aspects. Yeah. But yeah, she's able to see into people's pockets. I remember once we asked her, she just had her eyes closed and we asked her what the microwave like 10 feet behind her said and she was able to say it. And I was like, man, she's so good. And asked her to explain it. I have another friend who is absolutely amazing. He does what's called second sight. And it's a similar thing where he is like taking his spirit out and he's able to, there is no limitation. So he's not like going out of, it's not like typical where your body falls asleep and you go out of body. It's not typical like that. It's more like he's able to consciously be in his body and have his spirit out at the same time. Yep. I'll tell you this one story. So I have this thing in my house called a chi chamber. And it's like a portable room that you go in and train in. And it does all of these weird effects. And so I wanted him to see my chi chamber. And I said, hey, I want you to come to my house and go into the chi chamber with me. And so he transports himself there. And when he did, I could feel him. Like I very much felt him and I forgot how tall he was because I hadn't seen him for a while. And I looked up And then he texts me really quickly. He goes, "You saw me." And he goes, and I was like, "No, I actually didn't see you, but I just felt you." He goes, "Yeah, but you looked up." And I was
So
like,
he saw you look up.
he saw me look up. Yeah. But he actually,
Wow.
he's done this a couple of times where we would kind of visit like that. And then, like he calls it the approach. And I remember I went and, visited, I went to him because he kind of taught me how he does the approach. So I went and I visited him. And as soon as I like went to him, he sent me a text saying hi or whatever. So it's like he always was accurate about when it was happening. And so anyway, that's another, he calls that second sight. So that's another kind of thing what mindsight could be. It's amazing. With blind people and with sighted people alike, we all open the same way. I've always seen it that they're always opening the same way. The only difference is with blind people, I have to kind of explain what they're seeing. I have to do it in this specialized way so they're understanding what's going on versus when a sighted person starts seeing, they know exactly. Like when they see a color, they know exactly, oh, that's red. Usually it might be a little off in the beginning, but still they know what it is. With a blind person and I'm training them, I have to do it in a different way. So what I usually do is I'll take them into a dark room. And the first thing I'll do is I'll get them really accustomed to knowing the difference between light and darkness. Are you in darkness right now or is there light? Once they're good at that, that's just black and white. Darkness and light is black and white. Once they're good at that, this is how I introduce colors. I'll say, is it white? Is it black? Or is it different? And then I'll show them different. Is it white? Is it flat? Or is it white light? Is it darkness? Or is it different? And so once they've gotten that down really well, then I'll say, yes, that's the green, and then they'll say green. And I'll say, now we're going to play around. Is it white light? Is it darkness? Or is it green? And they'll play like that for a little bit. And then once they're good at that, then I start introducing the next color. I'll say, is it white light, darkness, green, or is it different? And that's how I introduce it to blind people because of course they've never seen before.
That is, well, for just to interrupt you, I'm sorry. That is so cool because you've answered the question for a lot of people when they ask this one question. How do you teach a blind person the color blue? Mm-hmm. And you just explained your process on how to do that, which is, I couldn't think about that. So everybody right now that's watching and listening to this, there's the answer. That's a great way to teach a blind person any color or any object, anything. So I had to interrupt you because that was so cool. That was great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And with Mindsight, blind people, I've worked with several and they open and they get to the point where they can read. These are people born blind. These are people who have never seen light in their life. And so how with Mindsight, the way you activate is by really the light sense. So I call it that with the blind person. So what I do with blind people, I do this with sighted also. But what I do is I have them get used to being able to detect things with their other senses because they can believe that. They can believe they can detect things by touch. And then I start getting to more senses that it's harder to believe, like energy sense. Like you can detect it by energy. And so once they're good at that kind of stuff, when I tell them, okay, now you're going to detect with light, it's very easy for them to accept it because they've already been able to do it with these other senses. And so now I'm like, okay, now it's time to do it with light. And as soon as you're doing it with light, then you're getting, you're able to tell these things apart in a way that's similar to vision. And what's interesting is with blind people, like, I've had some blind people where they thought that maybe I was healing their eyes because, I have an energy healing background and they're thinking maybe she's healing my eyes. I have actually done healing work on eyes before. But I didn't do that with these people. I think Mindsight's a little bit more, with healing, it's like, you're not sure if it's going to work or not. But with Mindsight, I know it's going to work. So I go with the Mindsight route. And I remember working with this one amazing man and he was born blind. And I remember thinking, he thinks that he's seeing with his eyes and somehow I'm making his eyes better or it's getting more efficient for him to use his eyes. And so I put a blindfold on him and he was seeing even better with the blindfold.
Wait a minute. You put a blindfold, a dark, blacked out blindfold on a blind person and they were seeing better.
Better. He was reading it so much he was reading faster. He was saying the shapes faster. And I asked him, what's the difference? And he said, well, it creates a lot of contrast, the blindfold. Because if you're in a lit room, there's just so much stimulation going on and they're still learning what is going on. They're still learning everything around them. Like a blind person, like this one, for example, like we were sitting in a room and there was a TV in front of him, but for the first time it started to show up. And he said, whoa, there's this rectangular thing on the table over there. And I said, yeah, that's the TV. He's like, oh, that's what the TV looks like. And then I said, all right, time to go into the dark room now, like into the bathroom. That's what I called it. And so I'm like, time to go into the dark room again, do another practice. As we're walking by the TV, he's like, wait a minute, it looked like the TV moved. And I was like, yeah, that's depth perception. When you move away from something, it looks like the thing is moving. And he's like, whoa, I didn't know that. And I remember I came back one day and he was like, Dalia, all day long, I've been seeing this dark thing right here. And it's just following me around. And I was like, that's your shadow. And he's like, that's what that is. That's what that looks like.
Wow.
And so it happened a couple of times where it would throw him off, where he's like, there's that dark thing. And I was like, yeah, that's the shadow. So, and then,
wow.
Yeah, it's just so funny. And, it's so funny to like how they start to realize like, whoa, I didn't know this is how vision worked. Like another example is like, when I was teaching him depth perception, I would have one object close to him, one thing in the middle, one thing far away. And that's at first he was just like, oh, I can't see far away. And, even though I barely started seeing here, like I just think I can't. And I'm like, of course you can. Like if you can do this thing, you can do that thing. And so he was just shocked that he could see far away with the depth perception. And what he learned was that when things are far away, they look smaller. And I said, yeah, and I'm showing him like, that's how you can tell something's far away. Cause I'm explaining that our eyes, they really are, capable, even though we're in 3 dimensions, we're only capable of seeing 2 dimensions. And so the way you can tell things apart is by shadows, like dark and light. And then also by, if it looks smaller, if they're the same size, but one looks smaller than the other, that means one is farther away. And he was really good at telling what was far away, what was close, what was in the middle. He just got so good at it. And, but yeah, what really blew him away was reading. Like, because when he first came to visit, I said, what is it that you want to accomplish the most? And he said like, well, I'm just going to leave it in your hands. I'm just going to leave it in your hands. I'm like, okay. But then as I was just paying attention to what he was saying, I'm like, well, tell me about yourself. Tell me about like your experience and stuff. And he's talking about a lot about not being able to read and not ever being able to read. So that kept coming up for him. I was like, he wants to be able to read. And he even said like, one day I think I will be able to read. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, yeah, like this week you will. And so, yeah, so I made sure I focused on that part. And then, yeah, the next day he read his first word and it was very emotional for him. He even said like, my whole life, they told me I'd never be able to read fine print, and I believed them. And it was just such an emotional moment for him. He said it took him months to integrate and to just be able to understand all of that idea and the concept and everything, just to be able to accept it. And, but he, it was very grateful and happy, but just like, what does this mean and why now and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and he said that they told him that he could never be able to read fine print. And then he said that he believed them. Mm-hmm. And then you told him that he can read and he believed you.
Yes. And so belief is that is the number one thing with this. And so what's nice is because, really he could always do it. Like he didn't need me at all, but people don't believe that. And so what I offer is this process that makes sense to people and they allow themselves to do it. Sometimes though, because I'm Dalia, I'm the one that does this stuff and I'm the authority figure. And I say with such confidence because I've seen it happen. They immediately can do it because they believe me. As soon as they say, oh, if Dalia says it, then it means I can.
So they do need you though. They need you. You like your daughter's been telling you as well. There's a purpose for you. Just showing up, just being in their presence, just telling somebody with something that most folks take for granted, which is our voice, to just say, hey, you can do it. And that's it. Life-changing. It's amazing how you're here alive in this era where we have technology, we have, video calls and all this stuff to where you can share this, you can trigger these remembrance, these gifts, these natural abilities from a distance to anybody, and this is why it's important to get somebody like you and your daughter in a place where everybody can experience you, an auditorium. Folks, if this episode gets to anybody that has the ability to, or the position to put Dalia and her daughter in a big, massive auditorium to just to share their life, their experience, that alone will trigger thousands of people to wake up. To wake up, folks. I feel that. How about you, Dalia? What do you think about that?
Well, we've done 2 stage events so far, and you're right. So many people have come up to us and said, wow, people in tears. Like that happens a lot. At the side games, what was amazing is when I was on stage, I'm seeing the colors. I'm explaining to the people in the audience about the windows. You know, we haven't talked about the windows on this, but basically it's the place of where we can focus and see. Blind people have the windows too, certain areas. But anyway, so I'm explaining the windows thing, and then I start seeing, and as I was seeing, or afterwards, I should say, a lot of people, about 10 people came up to me and said, when you explained that, I closed my eyes and I did it with you. And for the first time ever, I saw these windows and I was able to see the colors with you. And I remember thinking maybe 1 or 2 people, I'm like, they're making this up, you know, but then it was like 10 people said it. And I said, wow, a group consciousness thing happened, like a transfer.
There it is.
Where everybody can do it because they knew it. Like they saw that it was a thing that's possible. And this was without a mask. It was just eyes closed. And so amazing.
That's it. That's the goal right there. That's your proof. That's everybody's proof. Then those, let's say those 10 people, they share that experience with another 10 people and so on and so forth. I love this. But look, wow, there's so much we could talk about, but let's get into this Mindsight because folks definitely want to see this. So Dalia, first, let's do this. Do you want to do your solo one first and then our duo, or you want to do it other way around? I'll let you pick.
I'll do a solo thing because
yeah,
I'm not
do
sure.
The solo. Yeah.
So this is the mask I normally train with. I haven't had much time. So this is the welder's mask. That's what we call it.
Now, what's in there? It's your mask?
I'm going to turn it around. So this is this is cardboard paper, completely pitch black, completely opaque. And there is the same mask on the inside.
Yep.
So
perfect. And then you have this black paper all around it. And it's like a welder's mask. So there it is there.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous. I don't usually do this on stage or anything. And I'm not even sure how good I'm going to do today.
Let's try it. And do you also have another mask that's not in the welder's thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's give this a shot. Yeah, let's do it.
So this, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
So Alex Gomez's team, I'm working with them, and they came up with this because there's always that argument that maybe you can peek in some way under a mask. And so they created this to show that no.
Yeah. You're blocked. Yeah.
I'm just going to mix these up. Some are transparent. Actually, let me do the transparents first. So this one I'm thinking is blue.
Yeah. It is blue.
Red.
It is red. Yeah.
This one is yellow.
It is yellow.
And then, so I'm going to do some opaque ones.
Please. Okay. Yep.
Is this blue?
It is blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is orange.
Yeah. Orange. Yeah. Yep. Orange.
And this one is yellow.
It is yellow. It is yellow. That was good. Yeah. No, that's good. That's proof enough right there.
Just for fun, I will.
Yeah, please, by all means. Yeah, kind of just,
this way so you don't think I'm looking at the camera on the
perfect. Yeah. All right, go for it.
This is a closed circle.
It is a closed circle. Yep, I can see it. Perfect.
This is, what is this? Is this a closed square?
Closed square, it is.
Okay. It is. This one is this another closed square?
It is another close square. Yeah.
Plus?
A plus sign. Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
Cool. I'll do one more. This one, is it a closed triangle?
Closed triangle it is. Those line ones like kill me because I can't. I miss the lines. I kind of lose where they're at and everything. And folks, we're doing this for the first time. Dalia, have you ever done this before with anybody?
Not on Zoom, no.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to put on my blindfold mask, and you guys have seen this on my shows and stuff, right? So I'm going to do that. And Dalia, I'm going to have, before I forget, folks, I have Uno cards here, right? So I'm going to grab a stack of Uno cards and I'm going to just shuffle them right here in front of the screen so you guys can see that I'm shuffling it. There is no other set. Everything else is inside the box over there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold up the Uno cards in front of the camera while I have my blindfold, and then we'll be able to put this one. I'm going to go ahead and put this over my...
I also just found some patches, so I could put these on after or during or
afterwards.
Something.
Yeah. All right. So Dalia, you and I both have our mask on, and we're going to test each other. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by showing you. I'm going to put it on the camera. All right. And what do you see here?
That's a 9.
Yeah, it's a 9. Like, do you know the color?
Oh, it's red.
Yeah. All right. Your turn. Go for it. Show me something.
Right. Oh, you want me to show you something? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, but I got stuff.
Sorry.
We're good.
Sorry.
I got stuff.
We're going to go back and forth.
All right. Can you tell me what this is?
It's that toucan Sam.
It is.
From the, and then a T in blue T
Yeah,
in the back.
Let me actually show you the back of this one first. What does it say?
B. It's B.
And what's the word underneath?
B. Yeah, B.
Oh,
like
okay.
as in like an insect. And there's a B. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right, what's this one?
That one is a red 8.
Red 8. Absolutely. All right. Go for it. You do it.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. I see like a T, a small T.
Yep. And what's the word?
The word, go up a little bit more. Turtle.
And there's the picture of that.
It's a turtle. All right. Fantastic. All right. I'm holding up dice. What number?
Is a blue 3.
A blue 3. I'm going to do another one here. And I'm going to switch it up. What's this one?
That one is a red 4.
Yeah, we are doing good. All right, let's do 2 more. So you go ahead and show me 2 more, and then I'll show you 2 more. Sure. Yeah. All right, I see the picture. It's an apple.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll say another word.
A penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna hold something up here from my desk. What's this?
What is it? It's blue, or it's like a stone, maybe?
Yeah, it's a blue stone. Yeah. It's like lupus.
I'm trying to think of what the stone's called.
Yeah, I think it's called lupus. Here's something else on my desk. And all right, what do I have here?
It's a yellow thing. I can't really. What is that? Like beeswax or something? Like lip balm?
Yeah. Lip balm. Yeah. Yellow lip balm. That's awesome. All right, and you want to show me something else, or we're good?
There's my patches and stuff.
Yeah, do your patches. Let me take mine off here.
I love just testing myself, and some days I can do it, and some days I can't. I mean, with patches I usually can, but.
All right, folks, this is about to blow your mind. Yeah, this is about to blow your mind, folks. So Dalia is going to put on are they like pirate patch? Oh, they're the ones that stick.
I'm going to do both.
Okay. Yeah, do it.
All right.
I tried the sticky ones and they hurt my eyebrows.
Let's do pirate patches too.
Okay. Oh, wow. Double down. Let's do it.
But right now I'm not seeing, so you have to help me make sure I have it in the right place.
Sorry. Yep. You're getting it. Yep. You're covered.
I hope I can see when I do this. I hope I don't make a fool of myself.
No, you're fine. Awesome. Dang, guys. She's got like 3 layers over her ocular organic eyeballs.
I'm going to try this too, just for fun.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's push it.
Wait, this one's too small. I don't know.
Not too small. You got it. Okay, guys, there's no way. She's buried her eyes.
Ridiculous. I don't think I've done this.
Let's push it.
This is like leaving my eyes closed too. I can't even.
Okay. Do you want me to test you out? Do you want me to put something up?
Yeah, let's do it. That is a blue 6.
That's wild. Okay. I'm gonna do it again. Here it goes.
That is a blue 5.
Okay, that's awesome. Let me show you this thing. What is this?
I don't know what that is. It's like it's like a spiritual symbol. It is purple.
Yeah.
It says 3. Yeah. Looks like a 3 and something else.
Yeah. It's the Om symbol.
Get this other window to open.
What is this that I have on the screen?
That's it's a jar of water.
Yeah, a jar of water. I'm gonna do one more thing. That is amazing. Here, I'm just gonna do this.
Glasses.
This thing.
Glasses.
Yeah, glasses. I don't care what. Yeah, please. I don't care what I could have shown you. Like, yeah, your eyes were buried. Her eyes were buried.
I still had one on. There we go.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Wow. Yo, folks, that was round of applause, standing ovation. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I've never done.
You did it today.
Let's see what I could do.
You did it on we just went beyond the frequency 369. Definitely. That was awesome. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for me. I'm excited for everybody seeing this. And folks, if by watching this, if this has triggered you, if you guys were closing your eyes and trying to test yourself out, if you saw something, light, whatever the case, color, comment below. Let me know. Tell me what you see, what you experience. I would love to hear that from any of you. Dalia, that was cool. So look, and for the interest of time, because folks, she has people to take care of. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you my routine end of episode questions I ask all my guests. And remember, Dalia, there's no right or wrong answer, just yours. Okay. So my first question to you is going to be this. Beyond all the knowledge and experience that you've gained thus far, what still leaves you in awe and still makes you question everything?
Oh man, just every day with my daughter. Every day I'm questioning everything, and how precognition is really blowing my mind right now. Like when we got invited to Contact in the Desert, we got invited to the Psy Games and stuff. I didn't know we were going to get invited. In fact, when I heard about the Psy Games, I kept wanting to go because one of a speaker that I like was going to be there. And so I said to Lidu, should I go by myself? Should we both go? What do you think? And I'm thinking as a spectator. I am not thinking going on stage. And Lidu goes, we're going to be there and we're going to be center stage. And I was like, really? We're going to be invited to go? And I was like, what? And so I said, okay, I'll wait for the invite then. I'll see what happens. And then maybe 2 months later, I got the invite for both at the same time. And we most definitely were center stage. Like we were in both events. We were told that we were the stars of the event. So both times. And so Lidu was definitely right on that.
Wow. Beautiful. And how do you feel whenever before you get on stage? Are there butterflies in your stomach before you prepare because you don't know what's going to happen?
So I always feel this excitement because I know it's going to make something big. I know it was part of our plan and I know it's going to be huge. And so because I know it's going to be huge, my body reacts as if I'm nervous. But I'm like so frustrated because it's the same reaction. And I'm like, I'm not nervous. I'm just excited. But why do I still have that same reaction? I just can't wait till this is over with. But as soon as I get on stage, I'm totally calm and comfortable again. I remember when I went to Contact, I was so nervous. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to see with the patches and stuff because when you're nervous, the windows kind of go down. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. What if I don't know. And as soon as I got on the stage, I was so calm. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so easy. And then when I put on my windows were bigger than they've ever been. It was like I was being assisted and helped. It was like I saw more than ever when I was at Contact. It was incredible. I remember the host, Ron, he's so awesome. I remember him saying he actually cried. He said this was the most important thing. He never lets things go over time. He never does. He is very strict. They are always ticking everybody out after each talk. With us, he said, this is too important. You stay as long as you need. And I was like, whoa, this is so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that. And good job, Ron, for letting the show go on. Dalia, what do you think is the ultimate purpose of life?
I think it's just to gather experience. And I do believe that we have access to all of our experiences in this collective. Like Lidu, for example, like she just has access to so many lives and so many thoughts and so many things. And I just think it increases our experience the more we do it. Yeah. One of the things that Lidu explained to me is like, we have these beings we can call upon. We have angels, we have guides, we have all of these beings we can call upon. And they don't interfere unless we ask them to. They're always there 100% of the time, totally around us. They're not like in some distant place that you have to like ask for them to come and then maybe they'll come. No, they're like completely around us. They're telepathic. And she explained that they don't help us because it's their job. They do it because they're not the head honchos. We're all the head honchos. We're the same as they are. And we're like, let's just say like we're close buddies, like with them. We're like their friends and they're doing it because they love us. And it's more like that. So yeah, we have access to all these incredible interdimensional beings that are always putting things in our favor. And everything is for us, everything we're thinking, even if it looks bad, in the end, it is for us in some way. So yeah, I don't remember what your question was.
No, it was about the ultimate purpose of life. Yeah. No, I love it. It's the experience and the growth. First of all, I loved your explanation regarding the guides being around us and not being so far away and everything's for us and with love. That is a huge thing. That's what I talk about a lot here. Love, 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 love. Execute with love. Beautiful. Dalia, what is your definition of God?
God, how do I explain that? I would say it is also love. And it's also something we're a part of, kind of like, we have our hand and then we have things that think they're separate from the hand because they're, but they're fingers. And in a way they kind of are, but they are all together. They are the hand. And I believe that's what, we're all a part of God. And the whole idea that we're separate is more of an illusion. And it's the whole idea of separation that causes a lot of feelings of specialness and like, oh, I'm important and trying to make yourself be an individual. But at the same time, it causes a lot of isolation and anxiety and stuff. But so there's good things about having that independence and separation for the experience part of it. But in reality or in the end, we are really all one thing. And we are a part of this love. And eventually everybody kind of opens up to it again.
Yeah, thank you. And what is love? In your definition?
What is love? It is the cosmic force that creates everything, and it is very healing. And I always say that we're all love generators. So whether we believe it or not, we actually are love, and we have a purpose. Even if it looks bad, what we're doing, we still have a purpose in somebody's world. And sometimes we might forget that we're love. I remember, for example, like let's say you're playing, a bunch of kids are playing pirates or something, and one of the kids ends up dying. They forget it's a game, and then they start crying like, oh, I guess got killed, and they were mean to me, but they forgot the whole thing was a game. They were supposed to be mean to you, and you were supposed to pretend to die and stuff. And in reality, it was all this big fun game that you decided to play. So anyway, all of it is good, even if it looks bad in the moment and you forget it's a game.
Yeah. No, that's a great, I never even thought about it like that. As a young man, I was playing with my friends outside, cops and robbers and everything. And in the game, there's bad guys and good guys. And then at the end of it, we're just all laughing and having a good time. Dang.
Mhm.
Love that. Thank you for that. And my last question, part of this series, is if you could go back to little Dalia, when she's first figuring things out, what would you tell her today?
What would I tell her? It's kind of hard, but I would just say maybe the big picture. I'm always remembering the big picture. When you are reading a book or you're watching a kung fu movie and the main character looks like he's in trouble and you're worried, you still know that the main character is going to survive at the end. It's going to be happily ever after for the most part. And so if you remember that, then when you're watching the part where things are hard, you're okay with it. It's more of an entertainment than it is like a fear of something really bad's going to happen. So if you remember the big picture of what you're doing and the big picture that things are going to be okay, and you're seeing that, it's a lot easier to handle when things are kind of hard. Like it's going to be okay in the end anyway. Kind of like, for example, like let's say someone is afraid that their rent is not going to be paid or something. In the end, they're going to eventually get it paid. In the end, it's going to balance out, and it probably always has for them. And if they just remember it's going to balance out anyway, you can just stop worrying about the in-between. When I was a kid, I do remember getting visions and stuff that I was supposed to be doing work like this, like where I was doing healing work. And I remember seeing that as a young kid. And if I just kind of remembered that or just remembered that outcome, it would have, when I got through confusing places, I could just remember, wait a minute, well, it's going to be happily ever after anyway. And I'm going to be doing this amazing work. So I can just stop worrying about this. I could just let this flow and just go on the roller coaster ride and the ebbs and flows and just enjoy the ebbs and flows and experience it without worrying because I know where I'm going to end up.
Yeah. No, beautiful. Well, I love all your explanations on this. I just, it made me think of like when you're watching an episode of a series that there's always some kind of bad thing that happens, but that at the end, they're going to figure it out. So yeah. Great
I was
explanation.
watching, on the last flight, I went somewhere and I was watching John Wick 2.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I never have to worry if John Wick is going to survive because there's a John Wick 3.
Yes.
So I already know he's going to survive. So every
Perfect.
time it looks bad, I'm just watching how he's going to get out of it, really.
But John Wick in the movie thinks that, oh, shoot, like this could be it and everything. But we, as the guides or the observers, we know that he's going to be all right. Dang, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to figure that in some kind of episode too, though. And where can people find you, Dalia, if you're okay, people contacting you?
Yeah. This week, my website will be live. It's daliaburgoyne.com. And so I'll have a list of places I'll be and different things that I offer and different ways that people can train. You can find me there, or you can email me at info@daliaburgoyne.com right now.
Dalia, thank you once again for gifting us your time. I know you have things to do. Say hi to Lidu for me, for everybody else. She's a superstar. 5 years from now, she's going to be doing amazing things with you right alongside with her, doing equally greater and more amazing things. We're happy for you. We support you and we love you. Okay.
Thank you.